Janitor played a piano melody the single mom froze, hearing the song her first love wrote for her. The janitor's hands hovered over the piano keys, hesitant at first, but then a trembling melody escaped, delicate and haunting. The notes seemed to float in the dimly lit hall, carrying with them the weight of forgotten memories and silent longing. The single mother froze mid-step, her grocery bag slipping from her grasp, as if time itself had paused. Her breath caught in her chest. She knew this song. She knew it because it was the melody of her first love, the one she had believed was lost forever. If you believe in kindness and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to KH Stories, so more people can experience moments like these. Clara had built walls around her heart long ago. After her husband had left and she had struggled to provide for her young daughter, music had become nothing more than a memory, a bittersweet echo of a past she had tried to bury. Life had been relentless, long shifts at the grocery store, sleepless nights, and the constant hum of worry about bills and school fees. She rarely allowed herself a moment of joy, and yet there it was, the fragile, familiar melody unraveling in the air, as if the universe itself had decided she deserved a moment of magic. The janitor was an unassuming man named Leo, whose days were spent cleaning floors and emptying trash cans at the local community center. Most people barely noticed him, seeing only the uniform and the mop. But Leo had a secret. He had been a pianist once, and a composer, and for reasons only known to him, he still carried the gift in his fingers. Today, on a whim, he had brushed off the dust from the old piano in the center of the hall, and let his hands remember what his heart had never forgotten. Clara's eyes filled with tears as memories rushed back, late-night walks under streetlights, laughter spilling between them, stolen kisses in rain-soaked parks. This song had been written for her decades ago by a boy who had promised forever and whose absence had haunted her every joy since. She had convinced herself she had moved on, yet this melody, so tender and intimate, shattered her carefully constructed world. Her daughter tugged at her sleeve, confused, but Clara could barely respond. Each note was a thread pulling her back to the person she had once been, to the dreams she had abandoned. She watched as Leo's fingers danced across the keys, pouring life into the tune as if he knew exactly whom it was meant for. And then she noticed something else. The way he played wasn't mechanical, it was personal, almost pleading. Clara's life had always been about survival. She had fought tooth and nail to provide for her daughter, sacrificing romance, ambition, and even her own happiness. The days were gray, repetitive, exhausting. Yet in this moment, with the piano's warmth wrapping around her, she felt something she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. Hope. Hope that life still had the capacity to surprise her, to offer beauty in the middle of hardship, to reconnect her with the pieces of herself she had thought were lost forever. Leo finished the melody and let the final note linger, vibrating through the silent hall. He looked up at her, his eyes reflecting the same recognition and longing she felt. There were no words, only a shared understanding. Sometimes, life circles back to give you what you didn't even realize you were missing. The next days were a blur of rediscovery. Clara returned to the community center, initially drawn by curiosity and the desire to hear that song again. Leo welcomed her presence with quiet warmth, never forcing words but letting music do the speaking. They began to share stories of their separate lives, each revelation softening the fear and loneliness they had carried for decades. Through Leo, Clara realized that love wasn't just about grand gestures or perfect timing. It was about the courage to show up again, even after life had knocked you down. Her daughter watched quietly, sensing the change in her mother. She noticed the smiles, the lighter steps, the sparkle in Clara's eyes that had been missing for so long. It wasn't just a rekindling of a first love. It was the rebirth of a mother who had nearly forgotten how to dream. Clara, too, began to compose small moments of joy, music lessons, laughter-filled dinners, and quiet evenings by the piano where Leo encouraged her to play again. Slowly, the weight of her past began to lift, replaced by the gentle promise of second chances. Yet the path wasn't without obstacles. Doubts lingered like shadows. What if it was too late? What if the past was gone forever? But every time Clara hesitated, Leo's music reminded her that time had only hidden their connection, not destroyed it. And she began to realize that life's challenges, while painful, had also prepared her for this very moment. The ability to fully appreciate a love